Hello everybody, and welcome to this, and this will be reviews. Of course, Ring of Honor had their big live pay-per-view, televised pay-per-view, tonight, and and then I guess Saturday morning, we had the New Japan Dominion show. So we'll talk about both of those. We'll talk about Ring of Honor first, as I would imagine that's what most people, maybe not, but that's where we'll start. That was the bigger thing. Overall, this was a really good show. It wasn't a great show. I said if you saw my preview, I didn't know how great this show would be for various reasons. I will say production-wise, it did come off really well. It seemed. I streamed it myself. I wasn't going to give my cable company, who I hate, any more money than I had to, so I streamed it myself. And on Ustream, and it was awesome. That was one thing I really liked about what Ring of Honor did, is there was multiple ways to watch this show, and that was really cool. So there was that, and it came off great. I had no issues, no buffering, almost no nothing. Did this show do what Barely Legal did for ECW? Probably not. And I said that before. I said that on my little preview video. I'm talking about two different shows. Barely Legal basically was built up for. You had one match that had been built up for. I can't remember how many years. At least 3 years, maybe. It had been built up in Sabu versus Taz, and that was a really big deal. Plus, ECW was much hotter than Ring of Honor is right now, and it was their first true live pay-per-view. You could get the tapes, but you had to wait for them. There was no iPay-per-views. I didn't even get the TV show, so I had to wait for the tapes, even for the the TV show stuff. So you had all that, and and the card was just much better, and because of that, because they were building up for a first show. And if you've kind of followed the story of this pay-per-view, when the show was announced in Nashville, this was not meant to be a pay-per-view. It was originally a Saturday show, and then the cable companies, after the cable companies got mad at WWE, came to Ring of Honor, gave them apparently a very good deal to get put on pay-per-view, and so that's why they decided to try it. So they didn't have really the build-up that they needed, and I'm sure that they just said, okay, well, this is what we have going on anyway, so we'll just go up with what we have, and hopefully, if this did well, we'll get Final Battle, and Final Battle will probably be the big show, and at least I hope. So, but yeah, so as far as that goes, this probably wasn't what Ring of Honor needed, but overall, it was a really good pay-per-view, and I haven't seen anybody say bad things about it, really. Most everybody I know that saw it really enjoyed it. I even know people that haven't watched Ring of Honor in a long time that watched this. So I'm hoping it did well. We will see. It did look like they had pretty much every seat sold. If you saw pictures of even the balcony, which you really couldn't see on TV, looked like it was a full house, which I think at that building is about 1,500. And it did. That was one thing. It did. You could definitely tell it was a smaller arena. I saw some people say, they felt like they should play bigger places, but why would you play bigger places when you can, you can have an intimate feel? It looked like there were people there, and when you play a bigger venue, sometimes that doesn't come off that way. So, there was that. But anyways, I was really excited about the show. I did actually watch the Go Home show that Ring of Honor did, and with the exception of the 2 announcers that they used, which I didn't think came off really well. I thought everything they did was really good. The Michael Elgin, Mischief, Cole, angle that they did, and I think it was St. Louis, was really well done and really played well into the main event. So that was really cool. And overall, like I said, I thought the show was really good. Like I said, not great, not a home run. You compare it to Barely Legal that people still talk about, to this day. And, like, for example, myself, my friend Brian, Next Big Thing, and Markeem, Nightmare Baller came on here. And if we came on here and we talked about Barely Legal, that show to us is like, it's hard to even explain what that show is to us. You know, I've seen other people review ECW, and ECW really does kind of lose some of its stuff, some of what it was today. It didn't age well, but to us, that's such an important show and such a magical show that it will always resonate with us. And I don't think this was that. And you know, that's probably what Ring of Honor needed. I don't even think that was close to this, but it was what it was. So here we go. We start off with a 6-man scramble. ACH, Tadarius, Thomas, BJ Whitmer, Watanabe, Caprice, Coleman, and Ciampa taking on or Ciampa and somebody else in this match too. And who else was in this match? I can't remember. Anyways, you know, and they had a really good match, a good opener. It was crazy. It was this little spot fest, which was what these used to be, but it got the crowd hyped, and it was good. And this was for a shot at the TV title. ACH won, so there we go. Which led right into the TV title match, which was Jay Lethal versus Matt Taven. This was okay. This was probably the weakest match on the show. And there was really no bad matches on the show, but this was probably the weakest, I would say. It was okay. Was really kind of lacking something, so there was that. Then we had Roderick Strong taking on Cedric Alexander in a submission match. This was good. It kind of built, and then it finally got at the end. It was really good. But this was a good match with Cedric Alexander beating Roderick Strong with a stronghold, which was a really cool kind of finish. Then we got Mark Briscoe and Jay Briscoe taking on Matt Hardy and Mike Bennett with Maria. This was really good. This was 2 matches. Basically, you had the first match was a basic tag match, and then Mike Bennett got DQ'd on purpose to save Matt Hardy. And then Nigel came out and said, no, that's not what we're going to do. This is not a no DQ match. There must be a winner, blah, 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 blah. So then you had tables and ladders and chairs, and yes, you had chair shots, which were stupid, though not as stupid as, you know, some. But yeah, and then they got crazy, and of course, if you've ever seen a Briscoe match, when a match gets crazy, they kind of thrive in that environment. That's what you did. Match ended with Matt Hardy being superplexed off of a very tall ladder through a table, and then a Jay Driller, and yeah, this was really, really, really fun. Crowd really, really liked this. I was on Skype with Markeem and Cedu, and we were talking, and after this match, we were like, okay, I feel sorry for Kevin Steen, because we figured it was going to be Kevin Steen and Silas Young were going to be the next match, and luckily they had a promo type deal to be the buffer, and it wasn't very good, so I guess it was a good buffer. They introduced this new guy, Moose, who was at best on the mic, and yeah, but and then we got Kevin Steen versus Silas Young. I thought this was going to be a much better match. Not that it was bad. The crowd was kind of dead for a lot of it. The match itself was worked well, but it just didn't have much to it. And then after the match, Kevin Steen, you know, it looked like Kevin Steen and Silas Young kind of had made their ways, and then at the end of the match, it looked like Silas Young had left. Then Silas Young came back, clipped Kevin Steen, attacked him, and then we went from there. And then we got the tag team title match, Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish taking on Christopher Daniels and KAZARIAN. This was really, really good. This probably would have been great, but the crowd was kind of dead for a lot of it. Christopher Daniels is ageless. That's all I can say. There was one little miscue spot between Daniels and KAZARIAN, but other than that, and kind of almost I think it was supposed to be on purpose, where KAZARIAN kind of botched a flux capacitor, but it kind of led into the match, so it may have been on purpose. But other than that, this was great, and really, really good, I should say, and I enjoyed this a lot. My second favorite match on the show. Thoroughly enjoyed this, and yeah. Can we have this match again? Honestly, I enjoyed it that much. Then we had Adam Cole versus Michael Elgin for the ROH title. This match was insane. Not they've had better matches, I think, but at the same time, this was great in my opinion. And Michael Elgin won. I saw some people complain because there was some craziness that went on. Todd Sinclair got super kicked, so he got a ref bump, and then Matt Hardy and Mike Bennett came out, attacked Michael Elgin. Michael Elgin fought them off, and then tried to fight off Maria, but he wouldn't hit Maria, and then that led to Mischief eventually coming out and attacking or misting, which I'm always okay with, the misting. Maria, so that was cool. War Machine came out. They drove off Hardy and Bennett, and then we got the end of the match, which was a bunch of crazy spots. Michael Elgin just you had a middle rope delayed Falcon Arrow, which was insane. You had the Canadian Destroyer, which Michael Elgin kicked out of. Match ended with Michael Elgin winning with a triple power bomb, which was just insane. Dude's strong. We all know that, but there you go. Like I said, not a great pay-per-view. Came off fairly well. The announcing and everything I thought was pretty good, even though I think Carino kind of comes off heavy-handed a bit. And other than it got a lot better as far as that one, as far as commentary went, when Nigel was out there. I think Nigel comes off much better than Carino. But yeah, this was a very fun show at the very least. And if you're looking for a fun show to watch, I would say watch this. It was a lot of fun, and yeah. Then we had New Japan Dominion, which the big thing about this show was that it was going to announce the G1, which for the most part the participants are pretty much the same as last year. With the exception of AJ and I think maybe one other person. But we all know how good the G1 was last year. There's actually going to be a little bit more space in between the matches. So hopefully not everybody gets killed during the matches. And luckily the G1 will end before the Brooklyn show for Ring of Honor, so hopefully they can have some New Japan guys, because they're going to need something for that show, being that it is in a ball stadium, so we will see. Anyways, we start off with a great match. The match of the night basically was the first match, which was the Junior Tag Team title match, which are the Young Bucks versus the Time Splitters. Went out there, the Young Bucks, Young Bucks, in my opinion, are so much better since they got to New Japan, because they don't do quite as much as they used to do. They've toned some of it down a little bit, and a few other little nicky-picky things that now excuse me, now happen in their matches that didn't used to happen in their matches. So this was awesome. Everybody flying around. It's not like these four guys can't all work well together. Kushida and Alex Shelley are great. So yeah, this was just awesome. It's nice when they allow these guys to actually go out there and do their thing, and they allowed these guys to go out there and do their thing, and yeah, it was really good. Felt sorry for the next bunch of guys, for the next two guys, Tonga and Naito. Now there was no way they were going to be able to top that or even really follow it. And I did like Tonga's face paint, but other than that, this match was just kind of there. And yeah. Then we got Goto and Shibata taking on Nagata and Hanma. This was basically Hanma just getting the shit kicked out of him, and then building up to Nagata and Shibata being in the ring together, which once that happened, that was just freaking awesome. And Shibata doing a lot of, if you used to watch like old Kenta matches, where he just played the arrogant little prick and would attack the old guard guys while they were in tag matches. That's kind of what Shibata did here until Nagata got in, and then eventually Shibata and Nagata fought their way out. Match was really good though. Really enjoyed it. Like I said, Hanma just got the shit kicked out of him, but yeah, there we go. Then we had Killer Elite Squad taking on Tenkozy for the NWA Tag Team Match. This was so much better than it had any right to be. Really good match. Really enjoyed it. I like the Killer Elite Squad a lot. I kind of wish that Gallows and Anderson were not the guys, so to speak, for the tag team, because I think Killer Elite Squad is just that much better. I think Smith is so much better than he was in WWE, and yeah, and it's sad to see them in there like that. Then we had what probably should have been the main event, Kota Ibushi versus Ricochet. This was an awesome match, which is probably what everyone thought it was going to be. Just awesome, awesome stuff. I know New Japan wants to apparently now sign Ricochet away from Dragon Gate, which is good, because that's something I wish New Japan would kind of do a little bit more of, is get guys from other promotions in Japan and get them into New Japan, because part of the problem with New Japan is that they're not that their guys are bad, but that the roster is kind of stale, and so being that it's kind of stale, it's just kind of you know. Anyways, then we got that was an awesome match. Definitely go out of your way and see. Just an awesome, awesome match. Then we got the second half of the show, and the second half of the show was not as good. The first half of the show was awesome. Second half of the show, not quite as good. You had Azuka and Suzuki taking on Yano and Sakuraba. This match went way too long. Then we got Ishii and Okada taking on Takanishi and AJ Styles, or Yujiro and AJ Styles. And I thought this would be a lot better. I really did. It came out. It was good though, but it wasn't as good as I had hoped. Then we got the New Japan tag title match. Gallows and Anderson taking on Tanahashi and Makabe. Again, I thought this match would be a little better, and it just kind of underperformed. Then we got kind of a surprise, I think. We got Nakamura taking on Bad Luck Fale. Fale won. He's now the new New Japan Intercontinental Champion. This was a good match. It wasn't as good as their last match, but the reason the last match was so good was because of the blood. But still, good match. It's definitely to get the title off of Nakamura so that they can, probably do things both with the Intercontinental title and do some other things with Nakamura, as I would imagine the Dome Show will be Nakamura and Okada, added with Shibata and Tanahashi. And whatever they do with Ishii, Ishii better be on this next year's Dome Show. That's all I gotta say. But the first half of this show was so great that the pay-per-view is well worth seeing, and really the main event, while not great, is worth seeing. Because definitely the crowd is a little bit more into Bad Luck Fale. You can definitely see that the crowds are getting more and more into AJ Styles. I hope that the G1, they kind of put AJ over really well in the G1, so that the crowds will probably be a little bit more behind him because of the way they gave the title to him. But there we go. But anyways, that's pretty much it. So like I said, ROH. It was a good show, but it would be kind of like putting on a B show for your debut pay-per-view and not like a WrestleMania type show, and that's not really what they needed to do. So, but anyways, still a good show, worth checking out. But with that, I'm out. Have a good one. Later.